Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna build a live bait pen. A live bait pen is basically a cage for little fishes that you use for bait. It's gonna be floating. It's actually for kayak fishing. So when you are fishing, you want the fish to stay alive before you use it on the hook. So as you can see, we are using a 4-liter paint bucket. It's plastic, it's cheap. It's only €2 each in a hardware store. And I'm going to use a compass like this. The compass is going to mark where I need to cut on the bucket in order to make it like a cage, it's like a window. So there are going to be a series of cuts. So now I'm going to start marking first for the bottom. As you can see, you might not see on the video, but you can actually cut with a cutter, but it's dangerous. So you can actually also use a Dremel. It's safer. If you don't have access to Dremel, please be careful with the knife because you might cut yourself. So please be extra cautious. For the side windows, I'm going to mark it with a masking tape. I'm going to divide it equally, both sides. There are going to be 2 windows on the sides and a window on the bottom. So it's going to be more or less free flowing water, while this bucket actually floats in the water next to the kayak when we are out fishing. So if you don't have masking tape, you can also use a marker pen. Just for professional sake, it looks nice and neat when I don't have any pen markings on it. So the bucket is black in color. You can actually choose whatever color of a bucket. Usually they come in white or black. Or if you are in the US, if you go to Home Depot, they might have an orange color ones. So this paint bucket is 4 liters. But in the same method, you can actually use to build a bigger fish bait pen, live bait pen, which can go up to a 20-liter bucket, or probably what's the biggest can you can actually find, as long as it's sturdy enough and it's not too heavy to float in the water. Of course, it's not going to float by itself. It's going to have floats on the side. We're going to use foam. So it's all marked, as you can see. Now we're going to cut this window, cut that window, and cut the bottom out. Same goes to the lid. We're going to use the same method of scribing into the lid, because the compass is actually a little bit sharp, so it's scribed a line that's only visible to me. So we're going to cut that with a Dremel. Now that's already cut. So I'm going to use a sharp edge of a scissors to scrape the off bits, so that you have it nice and smooth. So you see all the windows is nice and free flowing. So what we're going to do now is going to use a mosquito net. My mosquito net that I have is an offcut of a mosquito net that is fiber reinforced. So we're going to make the edge square first, which is actually easier to work on. Because the bucket is a 4 liter, it's going to be a little bit tight to work on. So I'm using the table's edge to make it more or less squarish. But because the bucket is actually taper in design, you don't really have to do this. I just did it because my offcut was very rough. So we're gonna size it from the outside, cut slightly about an inch, just overlap, so that you have more than enough to play with when you're actually having the mesh glued or tacked into place. So to tack the mesh, because it's actually fiber reinforced and plastic coated, I'm gonna use a hot iron, which is actually a wood burner to burn wood. So this is actually similar to a soldering iron that you use for electronics. So I'm going to tag in dots about a centimeter from each other, so that it's tagged nice and sharp, and it's neat. It doesn't have any residue hanging off. You could also use other types of glue. You can use 2-part adhesive. You can also use super glue if you like. I'm not sure about the durability, but you can. Or you can also drill holes and stitch. You can use copper wire, you can use cable ties, as long as it's neat. I'm using this iron because I want it to be nice and stretched and just nice flowing, and have enough room for the fish to just swim around inside the bucket. My target species for live bait is going to be all small fishes. It's probably one of those fishes that just swim around the rocks where I used to fish. So as we go, I have to reposition my hands so that I don't burn myself, and also I get a good angle to where I'm gonna tag with the iron. For this job, I'm using a flat tip iron, a flat tip. There's a few tips actually they supply with that comes with this kit. So if it's harder, you can actually roll like I did here. Roll the mesh, do the sides first and then do the bottom. Be careful not to tag too hard. With too much heat in one spot, you might burr a hole, but it's not a big problem. It's just for aesthetics. It doesn't look too nice when you actually bore a hole through the bucket. So what happens is when you press the iron, the hot iron, against a plastic bucket like this, the plastic bucket melts and it wraps the fiber strands that is on the mosquito net. It acts like a glue. Keep going until you form a full loop. For convenience sake, I'll just trim off the edge so that it's easier to access. After finishing this lot of tacking, I also double tack around as in a zigzag pattern around the windows so that they are nice and stretched, and if one comes off, you have another one as backup just behind it. Afterwards, I'm going to also tack around about 5 mm off the lid of the bucket. Same here, is also to make it nice and stretched. And where I overlapped, I also double tack on the seams so that it just keeps it secure. Trim with a knife or scissors when needed. word of caution, when using this burning tool, especially on plastic, make sure your room is well ventilated because it's smelling strong of plastic. I had a fan running so that it just ventilates out the smell. It's not good for your health. Okay, now it's all out and trimmed. Okay, now it's all out and trimmed. Just gonna check, make sure everything is alright. Okay, because once you do the bottom, it's harder to access the side pieces. Now I'm gonna cut a piece just slightly bigger, about 5 millimeters bigger than the base. Trim it with the scissors. That's gonna go inside. Lay it nice and round. Adjust it where it's needed. Tack one corner. And then stretch your way around. It's like baking a pizza. It's like stretching a pizza. This is also double tacked. I'm not worried about the small fishes, big fishes to run around and break the cage, because worst case scenario, just go home and do it again. Tack it where it's actually broken. It's easy to fix. Tack it nice and neat all around. Because I make it a little bit bigger, wider than the base itself, so it overlaps like a cup up the side walls. Same goes here. This on the lid, I'm gonna tack it first, slightly oversized. Same here, stretch, tack and stretch. Double tack all the way to the edge. Tack in a zigzag pattern, it sort of helps to become sturdier. I'm going to trim the excess with a knife, carefully, then angle, rotate your workpiece. Make sure your blade is nice and sharp so that you don't have to force too much. It's actually safer rather than having a blunt blade forcing and the blade jumps and cuts you, your hands, your legs, your limbs. Always work with a sharp blade. There you go. It's all done. Look at the tack and on the lid. Now it closes nice. Now we're gonna put on the handle. The handle slides on. It's quite easy. Force it into the edge of the opening. There you go. You have a handle. Now what's left is we'll just have to fit this foam as a flotation device on the sides of the bucket. So you can use 2 pieces, you can use 4 pieces, it's up to you. 3 pieces if you like. you can use other materials. You don't really have to use insulation foam as such, because I don't have much floating materials in the house, in the storage. So this is what I can find from the previous project. I'm just going to use it to start with, and if it's inadequate, I'm just going to go find more polystyrene and just probably paint it hard so that I can actually mount it properly with a cable tie. See, this is the boring, the tacking head, which is flat, and now we are using the angled one so that we can sort of sharpish, so that we can make a hole. We're going to use this cable tie. I'm just going to mark where the cable tie should go. I use one single cable tie just for the lid. So this is a through and through. So because it's on the lid, on the body, it's a double layer on the rim. So I have to tack inside, outside, create a nice opening that fits the size of the cable tie. Adjust a little bit more. Okay, there you go. Now mark again. Don't make it too near to the edge, because otherwise it can't open it very well. It gets stuck on the side. Cable tie, twist it down. Now it opens well. Now cut off the tag line, tag end. Now we're gonna do the same. Mark where we're gonna make a hole for the cable tie. Mark it. More holes. Fit in the cable tie. Sleeve in slightly. That's what I'm doing. Sleeve in slightly, so it just sits in place. So this floats. It has to be just above the water level. You don't want it to be on the lid. You want it to be just on the side, so that it's just hanging on close to the surface of the water, so that the fish have a lot of room to swim. Cut off the tag ends. That's it. It's all done. Check it out. Close. And you can also put a bungee to just secure it so that the fish don't jump out. I wouldn't really worry about the fish jumping out. If they can swim, they won't jump out. It's all done. Thanks for watching.